know, we love to not listen. But when it comes to Ayurveda, it has worked 5,000 years ago. It still works, and and will always continue to do so, because our unique constitution is for us. It's for us to understand, for us to develop, and for us to grow that awareness. So on the emotional side, how are we on time? 5-10 minutes. Perfect. So on the emotional side, now I'm connecting here, throwing some more dots at you. On the emotional side, there are 7 areas of life, right? There's the physical, the body and the exercise and diet. And then there's the mind, where there's emotions. And then there's the spiritual side, the vocational side, the financial side, the familial side, and the social side. As I said before, when we have these 7 areas, we tend to compartmentalize. We tend to think, this is where I'm going to exercise, this is where I'm going to be working, and this is how much money I'll make, and then this is where I retire. We often fail to understand how, for example, it took me only 5 minutes to do this exercise. There was a lady who took time off to have kids. She was a busy executive. She stayed home, and she hated the fact that she was staying home, she was being unproductive, and that she could be out in the marketplace, but at the same time, she loved her kids too much not to do that. So it took me just 5 minutes for her to understand that doing the laundry would help her to change her careers, get a better job, because she would learn to delegate, she would learn to budget, and she would learn to be able to manage her time better. When she knew all that, and she saw that all the 12 hours that she was awake with her children, that she was able to negotiate with them, she was able to understand where they came from, she was able to manage her time better, she was able to allocate resources so that she could take time out and be able to get her, all these qualities are amazing. At home it sounds like manipulation, outside it's negotiation, where you make money off of doing laundry. The plus side, you get cleaner clothes. So that, when we see that, how we compartmentalize things, the next question is, how do you figure out what's important? In all these 7 areas, whatever we think is missing in our life is what we value the most. These 7 areas, whether it's work or whether it's family, whatever is most important to us is where we spend our most time, money, and resources on. That highest area of our life is the most organized. It's the most, it's what grows. Whatever we pay attention to grows. It's what's always on our mind. That's what we think about. That's what we do all the time. We talk about that all the time. And what's lowest is going to be chaos. It's going to be mismanaged. It's where we procrastinate the most. So if you have employees, you figure out where their highest values are, and if you connect them to seeing how this job is going to help them serve their highest values, you will get better employees. This is the key thing that we have always missed. When we put all of these things together, when we compartmentalize things, we don't realize. When we start integrating all the 7 areas of our life, we start realizing that there is much more to just putting finances on one side or health on one side. So one last thing that I'm going to leave you with. As I mentioned before, that what we miss the most is what makes things very important. Whatever void we feel becomes most important to us. So the most important thing that we always see in our day is that every 4 hours we get hungry. There is a void that shows up every 4 hours. We just ate lunch, now there is a big hole up down here. We are looking forward to food, and we are looking forward to the appetizers that might be coming up. So this void of hunger, this void of spirituality, this void of feeding our minds with wisdom or knowledge is a constantly reappearing void. And I'm going to finish this talk with thanking, first of all, Ashima for being so vulnerable when she opened this morning's talk. It's about being vulnerable to what's happening outside of us. feeding ourselves, our families, or people across the planet. It's the exact same thing. There is no difference in feeding yourself or feeding anybody on this planet. As my friend and mentor, Desh Deshpande, said last week, so there's a pyramid, we all know that. And when we are at the top of the pyramid, there is a sense of entitlement. There's a sense of power. There's a sense of urgency about doing all the things we need to get done. But let's not forget that that top of the pyramid, which is very, very well endowed, is actually supported by a base that basically is just surviving. It's surviving on food and shelter and clothing and all these very, very basic necessities, the rest of the planet. So if that top becomes really, really heavy, it's going to crush that base. It's for us to take care of that base. It's for us to make sure that it's strong, that foundation that we build on is strong. And that's where I want to thank you, is that I work for this chapter, for the Los Angeles chapter of Akshay Patra, which feeds 1.4 million children in India every single day, and has been doing for the last 14 years. And some of you are aware of that organization. But what brought me to this point is that when I looked it up this morning, I found that the 1.4 million children that are being fed and what is being done so well in such an organic and organized manner is the product of social innovation. It's the product of socially inclusive entrepreneurship, not on the behalf of people from IIT, but students of the IIMs of Ahmedabad and Udaipur. They collected all the data and they devised the most cost-effective way of transporting food to all these 1.4 million children. That cut its costs, that made sure that we could feed kids for $15 for the whole year. It costs only $15 to feed a kid for the whole year. So, and I think that's brilliant. And that's where I have seen so many people just come forward in the last 1 year that we have operated this chapter. And they are not just people who are homemakers, who feel for the kids, but these are social entrepreneurs who come forward to this global meeting that happens in Hubli and say, what can I do? What is lacking? Tell me what you want to get done. So hindsight could be 2020, but foresight is also 2020. If you really know that you're living a life of awareness, if you're living a life of consciousness, if you have gratitude and certainty, which I do every day, whether it's the end of the day, end of the month, end of the year, or it could be the last breath that I take. If I have lived a life of awareness and consciousness, it's a life well lived. And I'm giving you this opportunity to go home and look more at Ayurveda, to ask more questions about where it is that we have not, what is it that we have been missing, and then see the perfection. It's there. It's there. Nothing is missing. It's all here. And thank you very much.
So any questions? I had one question, which was, you mentioned that your midday meal should be the best meal or the heaviest meal.
Yes.
But at least I've read here that people say breakfast, they say feast like a king and then eat like a prince and then eat like a pauper. That's your dinner. So how does this tie in where Ayurveda says have a hearty lunch, whereas other health books kind of say have a hearty breakfast?
Okay, so I told you that the pitta time of the day is at 12 o'clock. 6 o'clock begins the kapha time, which is the heavy part of the day. So when we have a big breakfast, you're actually slowing down your metabolism. You're slowing down. Imagine going to the extreme, we have done that many times, and eating waffles and pancakes and you feel slow and you feel sluggish. The kapha time of the day is actually making it worse. So eating a light breakfast, exercising in the morning, giving yourself oil massages, sweating it out, and then having a big lunch and then whatever hunger is left over for dinner at 7 o'clock helps you, because after 6 o'clock is also a kapha time of the evening. Eating a light meal actually helps you to rest and fall asleep naturally. The kapha time, or the tamas time as they call it, helps you to feel heavy naturally and fall asleep at 10. Most people will always tell you that between 10 and 2 is their best work time. That's also again the pitta time. It is 12 noon and 12 midnight. So when people say they flip and they say, no, 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 I don't believe all that, I work best at night, it's because it's the pitta time of the night. So that's when their mind is active and they're able to do more constructive work. But also on the inverse side, they also tend to get a lot of acidity at 2 and 3 in the morning, and that's also a byproduct of pitta. Yes.
I'm a vegetarian, and what I've seen is that if I have my dinner very early, then I don't get a good sleep because I wake up
hungry.
So if I eat at 9 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, it's
Eat again?
better. I don't know. Does it,
I dream of food when I eat early.
maybe I digest the food too fast and I'm hungry again. Maybe I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, it is because you have a Vata constitution. I can tell from looking at you. And, this is so many years that I can pretty much start talking to people according to what their constitution is. It's a Ayurvedic trick. But to answer your question, if you're a Vata or a light person, then Vata people are like sports cars. They have lots of fuel, they zoom, and then they stop and they don't know what to do with themselves. So for Vata people, it's important to have maybe 4 meals. And to fall asleep for Vata people and to stay asleep is not always easy, especially if you cross the 50 mark line, 50 years. That becomes your Vata stage of your life. So which is why older people generally, you will see that they have trouble sleeping, they have dryness. So I would suggest drinking a hot tea, like an herbal tea that will help you sleep, and also a sesame oil massage between your knees and ankles. Just massage your legs, and that really helps you to sleep.
Well, I have no problem falling asleep, but I can't sleep for more than 5 hours. I wake up fresh, so that's a different thing.
That's also